So what happened with The View? How'd you get that gig?
Oh, The View.
How many episodes?
So for people who don't know, I was on one episode. You get these gigs coming up and you look at people who have careers and it's like, oh, he's the...
On TV.
On TV, and it's like, oh, he's the fashion expert or she's the chef. You almost... Very few of us get to dictate our careers. Like Leonardo DiCaprio gets to cherry pick what he does and what kind of actor he wants to be.
Right.
For the most part, we're like, someone's like, hey, you're going to host a dating show and you're going to be the comic that knows about dating now. And you have to work so hard to mold that.
But you don't want to turn down the opportunity because I
Right.
used to get those and sometimes they don't fit and your manager convinces you that it'll be a good experience because you're going to be on TV.
Yep.
You're going to learn how to read prompter or whatever. You're going to learn the skill of hosting and they kind of sell you on this idea that no exposure is bad exposure.
Yeah.
And then you do these things and you look at it, you're like, what the fuck?
What was that?
I wasn't even being funny.
What do I pay you for? Right. I was just sitting there. And I think, at least in my head, I always think I can make something funny. I
Right.
always think I can make it
You
good.
underestimate the power of a shitty show.
I really did. And editing. And so I always take a thing. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I could make
it
that
my own.
Honestly,
Yeah.
every time you make
Yeah.
it your own.
Right.
Except for The View.
Right.
It was I took a meeting. I had this whole thing. I wrote a pilot for ABC, and so they wanted to like keep me in the in the family, and all these meetings. And the executive there, who doesn't work there anymore, took a meeting. I was very excited. I wore a button down, and he was like, "Let's get you one," because they were trying out guest hosts with their panels. Like, come on The View. And I want a late night talk show. It's what I've wanted from the get-go. And the only reason I have a podcast is so I can work on listening to people.
Right.
And so I was like, daytime talk show, and I always love the effervescence of daytime variety shows.
No, they're great.
And I was like, I think I'll be good. I think it could work.
Right.
And I was so excited, and I just bought a house, and like in my like most vulnerable moment, I'm like, oh my God, I just bought this house and I'm going to have to move to New York because I'm going to be so good at The View.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll have to be bi-coastal. Like I'm planning this out and they fly me there. I get to The View and my agent's there and I get there.
It's a big shot.
It's a big shot. And, you know, it's a show watched by at least 15 overweight black women at noon during the day. So I get there and they give you like 40 topics, and I research all of them because I'm not about to look stupid in this segment.
Do you overwork?
Well, I just made sure I was prepared.
Right.
For some of them. And a lot of them are opinion based. So, and honestly, what they're talking about, there's never anything polarizing
Now,
for the most part.
Who are they?
It's Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
It's Rosie Perez.
Yeah.
There was this white woman named Nicole Wallace, who was like the Republican, and it was Raven Simone. So I get there. Do you know Raven Simone?
What does she do?
She was on that when she was a kid. She had that show, That's So Raven. She was the little one on the Cosby Show. She was the
Okay.
So I get there. I'm very excited. I don't like them.
And they're regulars.
They are the regulars.
Right.
Raven Simone was not, and that's why this is important. So I get there, and they say, "Well, you're here on kind of an interesting day." And I'm like, "Oh God, why can't this just be?"
Yeah. Interesting.
Today is the day that we announce Raven Simone will be a permanent cast member. And I'm like, okay, not sure, because she had been like filling in.
She got the job you were supposed to be.
In a way. And I'm like, okay, it was great for her. So maybe there's whatever. So
you want me to just go home?
So they go, you have an option. You can either be out on the stage with the ladies as a cast member when we introduce Raven and like welcome her as a permanent member, or we can welcome Raven and we're going to have like confetti. It's going to be cute. And then we'll have you come out. And I said, whatever you guys want.
Yeah, to shit on her party.
Right. I'll do whatever you want. I'm just trying to be easy and congenial. So we go over the topics. I tried talking to Whoopi Goldberg. She really wasn't having it. I went over to her and I was like, hey, you know, I watched your documentary on Moms Mabley. And I think that, and I was just like, I loved it. I saw it on the plane.
Yeah.
And I was like, how was that for you? And she just looked at me. She goes, well, I liked it. And I was like, oh, like here I am. I'm a female comic trying to talk to a female comic.
Did you say you liked it?
I did say I liked it. I was like, I really enjoyed it. And and I was like, how did that, I think I asked like, how did it do?
Yeah. Right.
And she goes, well, I liked it, which is code for it didn't make any money.
Right.
But it was such like an icy thing. And I'm like, fine, who knows? And I'm in her space and I'm cool. So everything. So I say, I'll do whatever you guys want. So they go, okay, you know what? We're going to have you out there when we announce the show. You'll walk out there with the ladies and we'll have Raven come on later. So they start the show. They're like, it's The View. The audience warm-up guy. Everyone's applauding. So I come on stage. What's her name? Whoopi Goldberg's like, all right. Welcome to The View. Okay. And I'm like, all right, she's going to say my name. It's going to be amazing. Let's get started. Today's a big day. And I'm sitting there. I'm sitting at that
and
panel.
Raven's done. They've done the
She's
Raven
not there
thing.
yet. Raven's not there yet. Because I said they wanted me to come out with the panel. Today's a big day. I'm like, they're going to say it. I'm a guest host on The View. Raven Simone is a permanent host. Confetti comes down.
Yeah.
I'm standing there. No one has said my name. No one has introduced me. And I'm just clapping. She comes out. She hugs us. Still, no one knows who I am. And she came out and she brought us each food. She goes, I don't do gifts, I give food. And backstage, some PA was like, what's your favorite food? And I was like, I guess I like bacon. She goes, Iliza, I know you love bacon. I'm like, I don't fucking know you. And she just gives me this thing of bacon.
Yeah.
So we all sit down. I'm like, okay, now Whoopi's going to announce me. Whoopi's like, all right, let's get to the first topic. She wouldn't look at me. She wouldn't say my name. No one knows who I am. And there's 5 of us just sitting there. And every single topic, they either would like ice me out and not acknowledge me, or if I made a joke, they would like try to point out why I was wrong. No one knows my name at this point. Still, no one has said this is Iliza Shlesinger.
Oh my God. To
the point where, and then the commercial would come up, no one would look at me. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what did I do? I wanted to be a part of this and I was so excited. And someone made a joke about the cloud, right? And the joke about the cloud is that no one knows how it works. They made a movie about it. And so I made a joke. They're like, oh, we stored in the cloud. This is one of the stories. And I go, right, because everyone knows how the cloud works. And Nicole Wallace goes, well, there are settings. I'm like, that's your input. There are settings. That's what. And that was it. And the segment ended and no one would look at me. No one would talk to me.
And you were there for the whole show?
I was there for the panels in the morning, and then they each do. Then they had to move on to their pressing 8-minute segment about oatmeal. That came next.
Right.
And I walked out of the building. Like, the next step would have been security escorting me out. None of the producers would say goodbye. None of the women said goodbye.
What the fuck happened?
I have no idea. And
what'd your agent say?
I was livid. The angry one. I walk outside. I don't do a bad job. Right. You watch, if I go on a game show, I go on things like it's fun and you have fun and they have you on because you're a funny person for a living. I've never done a bad job. I've never let anyone down like that. I consider myself pretty professional and I'm almost in tears, but I don't want that to happen. And my agent's like, I don't know what that was. I'm so sorry. I have no idea. I get a call from the producer. He goes, well, that didn't go well. And I'm like, why are you saying that to me? I did my job and I didn't do anything.
And no one introduced you.
Nothing. He goes, yeah, here's what I think. I think you don't come back tomorrow. And I was like, can I keep the hotel room?
Did they let you?
Yes. You don't come back tomorrow. We're going to have you back in a couple weeks. And I'm listening to him and I would have come back the next day just because I don't want to back down from anything. Right. But I sincerely asked him, I go, let me ask you this. In a couple weeks, will Nicole Wallace be any more relevant? Will Rosie Perez be any smarter? And will Whoopi Goldberg be less of a bitch to me? The answer is probably no. And then the show like completely unraveled and he got fired. But
really?
It was, I think those women, everybody gets jealous. It's
How
like
long
all
ago
about
was
you
that?
think. This was a couple months ago. I think I was hurt because I understand someone's younger than you or funnier. Of course there's a competition thing, but especially as like another woman on a show that's supposed to be all about women.
Yeah.
They were so cold. And
you don't think it had anything to do with the exchange with Whoopi initially?
No, because I came up and I said I liked her documentary, and that was it.
That's so weird because this is one thing about show business that bothers me is that there's a lot of things going on we don't know about when we walk into situations.
Yeah.
I mean, probably what happened was they'd given fucking Raven that job already.
Yeah.
And they didn't know who it was going to be, but she must have done something right, and then they negotiated that deal, and you were still on the books, and they didn't see any reason not to have a guest host.
Sure.
But whatever they were up to was probably over.
I think there's that. There's also, I know that some people don't want to be on the show. The show isn't doing well. I think I walked into a storm.
Right.
So I didn't take it as personally, but that being said, like, if you're, and I've had this happen once or twice where you're a guest on a show and the host, for whatever reason, is having a bad day.
Yeah.
And then they make you pay for it. And you're like, look, you invited me here.
Yeah.
And that's tough because...
And it's a live show. You really could have fucking done something.
I could have said some F-bombs. It's one of those moments where as a professional or as a sane person, you're like, look, I'm not gonna yell at you and be like, hey, Whoopi, you're wearing socks with sandals, you maniac. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna walk away quietly and then go on a large podcast and talk about it. But there are those moments in Hollywood where you really, like, you could make a name for yourself by going batshit crazy.
Right.
Or you could just be professional and walk away and no one will ever see that episode.
Yeah.
It's a decision. It's a line in the sand.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Good for you for making the decision.
I didn't even draw the line. I just went home.
You just went home. You could have been the chick that said fuck and lost her mind on The View.
I don't think I'm that person. Like, I don't think I'm the person that has the freak out.
I've had freakouts, but not like that.
No.
You know, usually at home in front of people I love.
Right. Not as epic.
No.
Just like a nightly occurrence.
Well, what do you do with all this fucking, you know, like, I guess, like, I don't know, like, it seems like, you know, we talk a lot about anger, but like on a day-to-day basis, do you experience it or are you just like keeping your nose to the grindstone?
I'm angry all the time. I'm angry and frustrated all the time. And the only thing that sort of curbs it is the fact that it's funny. Like if I'm angry, something funny is going to come out of it.
Yeah, I know that one. Angry or sad, you know, pain or anger, you know, generates a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And so.
But what's the source of it generally?
I don't know. Maybe just a general frustration.
Like, you know, like at Starbucks or wherever you go for coffee, you're like, God damn it. Like that?
It has to do with, I feel social contracts get broken a lot of times. Mm-hmm. Like I was on the plane today. And now look, the only one being harmed by this is me.
Right.
You know, I don't take it out on people. I don't snap.
Except yourself.
Except myself.
Right.
But what are you going to do?
And you might make people uncomfortable because you're stewing.
Just ever stewing.
Yeah, right. Like people are like,
pot.
What's her problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you just come up to me, I'm very nice. Like I would never take it out on someone.
Well, what about these social contracts?
Social contracts. So like today I'm on the plane.
Yeah.
And the woman in front of me, it's a husband and a wife, and they have a baby.
Yeah.
I understand. Babies cry. Nothing you do about it.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden, I hear very loud the alphabet song coming from the woman's iPad.
Right.
She's playing it for the kid.
Right.
Put fucking headphones on your kid.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So the kid's not crying, so you're going to make everyone listen to the alphabet song?
Yeah.
Things like that where people just, like, I try not to have much of a carbon footprint or a social footprint, and I try not to, like, let my thoughts, like, hurt anyone or my actions. That is so fucking rude.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one paying for it because I have to now hear the alphabet song.
And lock into it.
Yeah.
And just let it just destroy you.
It and so you breathe through it, but then, like, so she's ignorant, but if I say something, then I'm at fault because she didn't do it deliberately, but I would be saying something deliberate. Mm-hmm. So then I'm the bad person.
Right.
What do you do? And these things happen, you know, it's easy to say let it go, but like I don't get mad in traffic or anything. It's little things like that where it's like in your space.
Yeah, like
you have to understand what I'm saying.
I do.
Okay.
But I do get mad in traffic. I like, even though I know that's something I have absolutely no control over, I still think it's an injustice somehow.
Right.
And it's my shit luck. Like, and
it's just you.
Well, that's it. Is it it's like I have to go back to something when I first got sober and my second wife, who was a comedian, you know, like I'd get mad about something and she would go, just like your whole fucking life, right? Oof. But it was, the point was, it's like, a lot of it doesn't have anything to do with you. Cause sometimes I'm like, I feel okay. Yeah, I'm not mad and I can make those choices. There's some part of you you get something out of being angry. Like,
yeah.
You know, I'm not sure what it is and it's not a good thing, but you get something.
There's some endorphin, there's some good chemical released. Because if it was legitimately anger, because these all sound.
But you're not miserable.
No, of course we all have bad days.
No, but I mean, you're not sad.
No, I don't have depression and I'm not sad.
Right. So like, you know, there's some part, huh?
Just angry.
I know, but where does that come from? I mean, I can't always track it. I have it, but it's upsetting. So what do you think's going to make you, be able to be like, all right, I did it.
I did it. I would like, well, I haven't had the thing. I haven't had like the one thing.
Yeah.
The tiny steps. I want a late night talk show.
Yeah.
And I've made.
Or an afternoon talk show.
I think I've been banned from the world of daytime. Especially after this airs, so they're definitely never having me back. I've made maybe 5 pilots for that.
Uh-huh.
People don't see that. That's the other thing.
They don't see the pilot.
People don't see your efforts.
Yeah.
They come up to you. Why aren't you on any shows? Why aren't you in a movie? You're like,
that's my whole career.
fucking try it.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't think my father thought I was doing anything that of any importance until Obama was here.
Oh my God, that was a real red letter day for you.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah.
But people don't see that, you know, and they come up to you and they ask you these questions that are so
they
mean
don't
well.
they don't know what we do for work.
They don't know.
Right.
And even to look at me and be like, you work hard, it's like that's the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
They don't see you or other comics running to 3 auditions, 2 meetings, flying home early to get some sleep so you can go to another meeting,
several
to set up
pilot
a pitch.
deals that don't go anywhere.
Everything.
Yeah.
Nobody sees any of that. And a lot of times that's what funds most of your career.
Sure.
Career.
Yeah.
I want a late night talk show. And I think that that would make me happy.
Yeah.
I'm very happy when I'm actively working.
Right.
Or just really
And there's something frightening, as much as we, you know, and even with me, because when I started this podcast, there's something frightening about there's something frightening and beautiful about knowing you always have stand up. Because like sometimes when you're like, well, if everything else goes away, at least I have my stand up. But if you really look down that tunnel,
it's an ugly tunnel.
Sometimes
room service.
Yeah. And just
nights.
sort of like, can you keep your audience? What happens? It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. It's comforting and terrifying.
Right.
It's like Stockholm syndrome. And
it is.
Yeah.
So what do you got in the pipe right now? Do you got something going on?
So that's the other thing. I'm always reticent to, and I will happily say them, to talk about things. We live in a town where everyone's always lying. Mm-hmm. And I never want to be that person.
Right.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when you see like an Instagram picture and someone will be like a picture of them on set and be like, stay tuned for next year, you guys.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. Show me the listing on the TV Guide channel. If it's not there, it's not a thing.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Well, thanks.
You work hard.
Thanks for having me.